The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by the Texas Tribune Festival, presented by J.P. Morgan Chase. Step inside the conversations shaping the future of education, the economy, healthcare, energy, arts, and more at the 15th Annual Texas Tribune Festival. It's happening November 13th through 15th in downtown Austin. Matt Ewalt is here to tell us more about what to expect. Yeah. Matt, good morning.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here.
You are in charge of big events like this, so if you wouldn't mind, please just remind us about the Texas Trib Festival. Back for its 15th year. Yeah. I told you, speak to me like I'm a big dum-dum because I've never gone.
So TribFest has been part of the Tribune's journalism since we were founded 15 years ago. And the idea is to bring Texans together to have conversations about issues that are impacting our community. And we've been doing it for 15 years.
Yeah. And so this year, I think it always gets kind of like bigger, better, that sort of thing. What can attendees expect and any big moments that you're excited about? You actually said instead of the big headliners, which yes, we are excited about, it's the kind of smaller conversations that you think people will really connect with.
So it's both, right? It's we just had a big full talent announcement today,
which is so huge. The lineup was just announced, y'all.
Yeah. So Tim Walz, Minnesota governor, and
former vice presidential candidate. Yeah.
We have Vicente Fox, former president of Mexico, Paula Kerger, CEO of PBS. A number of big speakers joining us. And you're right. I mean, those folks see those names and really want to hear directly from these leaders about the world. But it's also the case that we're convening conversations about issues that impact people at a personal level or in a community level. Conversations about the future of public education. Conversations about where is philanthropy in 2025 and what does it look like in terms of supporting organizations and people in our community. And we find people gravitate towards those in part because it's what they care deeply about and they want to take that information with them back to their communities.
Well, and it's so great then because you get to meet other people who are thrilled about it, and maybe policymakers, change makers who you didn't really know before this festival, who now you understand, they're on the same page that I am.
Yeah, it's meeting folks, including those who are on our stage, that do share some of the same ideas as us, but it's also an opportunity where you step into that space, these spaces at festival where you're getting to know people who don't necessarily share the exact same views as you, but hopefully in this spirit of engaging one another and listening, we walk away with some new ideas and more motivated in terms of how we can impact our communities.
Yeah, really good points there. I'm going to ask you to reflect on for us on 15 years. We actually brought you in just 2.5 years ago because you are so good at what you do. We brought you in from out of state. But can you just touch on for me how the festival and Austin have changed during that time? Because the truth is these things go hand in hand. What we're covering, the issues we're talking about, have changed as Austin has changed.
Yeah, I mean, I'll look, in terms of how the festival has changed, part of it is the reputation of the festival. And you will take a look at the names of those joining us. They recognize the importance not only of being part of TribFest, being in Austin and engaging Texans. They know how consequential a state Texas is. What happens here impacts the rest of the country. And we see that more and more each year. In terms of how Austin has changed, I'd say it's about how communities have changed. I think 5 years out of a pandemic, we're yearning to find those spaces to be with one another again, right? Those third spaces, and there's a lot of those third spaces at festival. But just to go back to that aspect of our politics, I think there's something about how overwhelmed we can be with the noise of our politics these days that can create some distance from the impact we want to have. If we're doing our job right at festival, you're brought in a way and feel empowered by not only what you're learning, the people you're meeting, and not just with what's wrong, but rather what you can do to be part of what's right.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think so many people feel Maybe they feel like everything's going really well, or maybe they don't, but it's hard to feel like you have individual impact at this time. So I think that's a really good point to make about the festival. I would like to ask, who'd be a good attendee?
Yeah.
I did ask off camera, do I have to be really good at politics? Do I need to have taken civics in the last 10 years?
Yeah, and look, when you throw out the term politics and policy festival, people are going to assume you have to be a politics junkie watching the news each and every night, or that you're a policy wonk of some kind. And we certainly have those who are deeply invested in public education or healthcare joining us. But the way in which the festival comes together is that this is intended to be as accessible, a festival and conversations. Anyone who cares about their kids and the schools, the future of the schools they're going to, wondering about the water crisis in the state and whether we're going to be able to solve those issues. Don't worry about the expertise you bring. It's the curiosity you bring and that kind of openness that all of a sudden those policy wonks are going to learn as much from you as you will from them.
Policy wonks. But really good points there, especially about how we are so individually impacted by a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about at the festival. I do want to ask about how tickets work because it is a 3-day event.
That's right.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so a few options here. Yes, tickets are for 3 days of the festival. I do want to give a plug to students and educators out there. We have a significant discount for both students and educators. That's because they need to be part of those conversations. But I also want to plug what we call Open Congress, which on Saturday, most programs we have for festival, we open up Congress Avenue with tents and all sorts of additional activities. That is actually free and open to the public. So even if you look at TribFest and you say, I'm not sure of whether I want to put money down for a ticket, obviously we'd love for you to join us in that capacity. There are opportunities there to just take a chance. It could be we're doing conversations about how we can best support the next generation, or we're and along those lines we're actually having a conversation about Gen Z politics and what that next generation of politics are looking at and how they're shaping the world. Those are just two examples of opportunities at Open Congress that are free. And so find some time on Saturday, bring the family and join us for a little bit.
Sounds good. And then a good reminder there that students are a big portion of this, which is why those discounted tickets are available for them and educators, right?
That's right. That's right. Well, look, I mean, the fact is that if young people aren't part of the conversations we're having, then we're failing and we're not going to impact the future the way we'd like. So we really do prioritize young people shaping the conversations at TribFest.
I want to get them invested.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. It sounds like it's going to be really, I've used this word in the last week, but cerebral, but in an interesting and really fascinating way. So thank you so much for your time, Matt. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you can get your tickets now and see all the different options, including learning more about Open Congress at tribfest.org. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by the Texas Tribune Festival, presented by J.P. Morgan Chase.